Hey guys, what's up?
The subject of today is why most artists will never build wealth.
This channel is for artists who want ownership, not just attention.
Yeah, it's a big topic now. How many online platforms there are that people they're around to share people's artwork, and millions and millions of people a day upload millions and millions and pieces of artwork, and it just goes into training AI.
Wow, which is true.
Which goes into these large black voids. It feels like half the time. So a lot of people are trying to figure out the new way of monetizing their art.
Yeah, I think.
And then,
go for it,
and then
Hiroyo.
I think as the musicians, artists are just focus on the good content. So they don't care about. I don't want to say don't care about. It's hard for them to care about how to expose in the market. They don't know what the people want, something like that. So it's kind of gap. We created just a gap between audience and creators. That's the one problem.
This sounds like your famous saying that you love: market in, product out.
Product out. Yeah, that's right.
So are you saying that people like the artists, us artists, 40 plus artists, are not really understanding of what the market's really in demand of for?
Exactly.
I see.
Can we expand on what that means? Market in,
product out. Yeah. What does that mean, Hiroyo?
Okay, market in is the people needs. The product out is just focus on something good content from creators. The market in is just based on the audience needs. But product out is sometimes good to fit together, but sometimes it's not.
That's tough. I get it. So as an example, we have a music producer who loves to produce, let's say, jazz music, but the market is not really in strong demand for jazz. So do you find a new audience, a new region of the world, or do you consider, hey, like, let me make these skills transferable and start playing other genres of music if I want to continue making money? I know it's not really cut and dry, but what are your thoughts on that?
Do you remember the genre called smooth jazz?
Smooth jazz, yes. Subgenres,
yes,
sure.
Right? Yes, it's they blended jazz and kind of groove sound, and then go into dancing music. So and then they created another genre for audience because they want to sell more music, more jazz music, I think.
So Danny, let me ask, how does that for you translate to the work you do with visual art, whether it be animations and such? Is that where, for example, somebody might get a job, like a corporate job as an artist, a visual artist?
Yeah, that's basically it. You kind of go to where people are going to pay you, right? And if it's in the corporate area and finance, and especially with the way technology is now, that everything is online, there's a lot of remote work, is that these structures, they need infrastructure, they need digital fluency and literacy within the entire corporation. So people like me can find work in those areas by with design and with music editing and even illustration and graphic arts, that you can go in there and make basically look like a wizard to these people, because that's what my background is. And they're finance people, they're project managers, they're change management, they're a bunch of different, they work in financial crimes units, but they need to talk to 50 to 70,000 people about technology changes, and they need it with clear communication, and it needs to be half entertaining so people can actually sit around and digest this stuff and remember it. So people who make pretty pictures and make pretty songs, like a lot of people on this call, you basically become a tap dancing monkey in order to make sure that they get their but it's fun. Like, you can make money doing it, and it's great because you actually see the change that you're creating for people, and you make it look and sound pretty. And that's right. One area where you can find your spot.
So I get it, and there's some value there too. Of course, you mentioned, of course, it affects lots of people. If you couldn't see the change or the impact, then of course it wouldn't really be affecting a lot of people. But the thing that comes to mind when I think of all this, which is not a bad thing to get paid doing something you like or enjoy or that you're great at, for somebody else's benefit. My only concern is that if you think of words like your legacy, are you building your own legacy? Do you get a chance to focus on your legacy?
You're building
Right.
somebody else's, and you're already working on somebody else's legacy. And in my case, a large conglomerate, legacy that belongs to a different echelon of folks that doesn't, you know, fit in my tax bracket. They're way above there. So if you want to build a legacy and also have some sovereignty to your own work, then areas like what we're talking about, if it's blockchain to making digital assets, that is a great stepping tool that I've recently have become aware of how you can essentially, you and your work can live forever and can't get rid of it. And it's, people can also buy it, or at least, exchange money for it to have those assets. And that's only good for the artist at the end of the day.
Right. So this also makes me think about ownership. That's one of the things about blockchains, right? So Hiroyo, I know you can speak to this. Like, that tokenization is pretty simple. It's just a way to make your scarce art into a digital asset, or just to make it scarce, if anything. And a lot of times we do paintings. I mean, I have to buy canvases a lot of times for my household, and a lot of paintings being created. That's one piece. We might print it and duplicate it, but the whole idea of ownership and the legacy, which Danny, of course, spoke to, scarcity and an asset. Hiroyo, what do you feel? I know it's not that easy, and you and I know it's not that easy to make something on chain and get it to be something that's super viral. I guess one of the thoughts that comes to mind is kind of like, do you want the income right now, or do you want long-term equity? My view is that digital assets, especially something on Bitcoin, can be long-term equity. And you might not get paid a huge chunk right now, but as you know about inscriptions, okay, I'm asking the question, but I'm also answering. Hiroyo, let me know what your thoughts about inscriptions, digital artifacts, something that's inscribed on Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's right. Just to mention about, sometimes it's not good, for example, income through blockchain, for example, NFTs on blockchain or inscriptions. But like you said, it is ownership. It's very important for creators. For example, if I created my CD, that's right, I can get some royalty from publisher, yes. But if I sell to you, Danny, and then if Danny sells somewhere, for example, eBay, or I cannot get anything, royalty, nothing. I can't chase it. Even though I created, I spent a lot of time to train myself, and then spend a lot of time to create, build, song, art, visual, whatever. I can't chase it. So I felt sad about it. And then, search around the internet. NFTs might be that one. That's why I'm huge fan of, and then I'm into to think to build something on chain. Of course, it's not so easy because still market is not big like we are living, but it'll come. People must understand blockchain because right now it's in government push about something, documentation on bank or something to push to tokenization. So that's the good part. We're waiting for that.
So we asked the question at the beginning, why most artists won't make wealth, right? Why most artists will never be wealthy. So, one of the main reasons is that it might be wealth kind of in just a general sense. If we keep chasing the next thing, we start something, then we chase the next thing. We start something, then we chase the next thing. There's a new social media platform. There's a new outlets. There's a new style, a new format. And also maybe, just, as they say, keeping up with the Joneses. I think one reason why most artists will not ever generate anything significant wealth-wise is because they cannot stick to one thing long enough to dig their feet in. They may, and I'm saying may, I would love to hear you guys' feedback, but I've got a few reasons why. That's one. I don't think people are willing to put in as much work in one format before they're trying to see the next thing that the other person did that made them wealthy and see if they can dabble.
Yeah, and doesn't help that like the goalpost keeps on getting shifted from whatever platform. Big influencers. If it's Instagram, used to be where you could go share your artwork, and now it's like a graveyard, and it's like just re-memed and recooked video clips and whatever. And there's some great artists on there. Then Threads came, and then that got divvied up a little bit more. And then there's another one that's Kara, I think. There's another one that a lot of people from DeviantArt, a bunch of people, concept art, that were moving from there. But there's Blue Sky. There's all these things that keep on changing. And one thing's at least for sure, that if that legacy aspect of things, it could just be right here. People can find it, and you can use those platforms to push anything else. But at least here seems to be on a singular, or at least on a track that you can focus on, and not abandon it for the latest app du jour, from my understanding.
Yeah, sure. And I don't think there's any one single answer, for this type of thing. Most artists were never taught this, like how to find new outlets. I think we saw an erection of some type of building, or some club, or some stadium, a soapbox. That's the place. Somebody else built this venue. That's the place. Somebody else built this outlet. That's the new place. It's kind of hard. It doesn't mean that artists should necessarily come and say, hey, we're going to build our own platform. It's
whatever works.
Yeah, in a sense, whatever works. Yeah. Hiroyo, what do you think? Why? Give me a reason why you think artists will pretty much never build wealth. Most artists, of course, that is.
Too busy making.
Too busy making. Yeah, I can't deny that.
Exactly.
Too
That's
busy
what
tinkering, right? And we're the worst marketers on the planet.
It's true. We make all the content, but we're the worst business. I mean, maybe we're too much in our feelings,
Mm-hmm.
Too much in the emotion of it.
That's why that marriage needs to happen. And Hannah and Barbera, you need like the mind to go with the paintbrush. It's always the case. You need a business-minded, shrewd person to help you with that. I've always needed that leadership.
Yeah, I think it's some. Okay, I have a good solution maybe for that. It's, for example, art school. Maybe I think it's Danny goes to the art university or art school or something like that. I did too, for my to know about the music theory or whatever. But in the school, never talk about business. So we need to know both how to create the things that we want to create. Well, of course, it's a technique, skills, something. Focus on that, or how to the tools or whatever. And then we have to know the business, because after that, after graduate the school, we need to live by ourselves. So at least not that I want to be a businessman, but we need sometimes things, or how to cooperate with the business people, the communication, and then make a good team. That is very important. I think it's education will be better.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because even when I was in school and I was learning more about broadcasting, I learned the main job to get was in sales. It had nothing to do with the radio show host. Of course, a host is very popular and gets paid well.
And you have a good voice also.
Really? Well, you do too. All of us do. I think we're all good, Maybe I'm biased, but so that was when I learned that was the main job, it really changed my mind about the entire music industry, radio show industry, entertainment industry, because the sales are really, if you can't sell airtime, then you have no radio station. It doesn't matter how good the music is. It doesn't matter how great or handsome or beautiful that host is and how eloquent they are. We can't get people to pay. So it totally makes sense for them to play very popular music, because they have to present these advertisements in front of as many people as possible.
Sure.
So
bean counters, man. Always got the bean counters. It's what makes everything go around. Everyone's not doing it for the love of the game,
Well, yeah. I mean, at the same time, how could you love the game if you don't have food in your belly at the same time? So it's tough. There's a fine line. Look, I want to say to everybody, if you guys want help building your first digital asset properly, well, that's what we do inside BlendsGroup. I want to leave everybody with a question, and we'll leave it. We won't answer it. We'll answer it on the next one. But I want to ask, what's your biggest hesitation when it comes to publishing something on blockchains? We'll leave that for next time. All right?
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, good.